Years ago, when I was a young man in my 20s and recently out of the military, I got a job working at the local gym. And I started that job around, I don't know, I think around November that first year. And about 20 people joined the gym. And probably about the same number in December. However, the idea about joining a gym, according to US News, they say the rush to join a gym in January, however, is part of what is called holiday remorse. So I noticed that in January, the gym was flooded with new members. In fact, it was more than 400 new patrons, and all of them were fresh with the idea of a hopeful New Year's resolution and getting that flat belly by summer. US News reported in the same article that they titled, "Why 80% of New Year's Resolutions Fell." One statement I loved by the reporter is, "Yes, I can show you a holiday road to hell paved with New Year's intentions." And that was according to reporter Joseph Luciani. He said this is a guilt-ridden response because perhaps, we indulged too much in the holiday cheer and packed on a few extra pounds. And the reason that we joined the gym, is in hopes to exercise that protruding belly down to a more, shall we say, healthier and more pleasing state of being. But here's an exciting observation I made while working at the gym. The gym size, and I mean the square footage of the building, never got bigger and never expanded like the new members' waistlines. Day after day, the same number or average number of members who showed up to work out didn't change. And I thought to myself, where are all the new people? They just paid money to join the gym. So with hundreds and hundreds of new memberships, I expected that there was not enough room for everybody to work out. And my boss even laughed at me when I expressed concern after signing up so many people in January. But year after year, and as confirmed by the gym owners and of course my manager, about 80% of the New Year's resolutions of losing weight, those New Year's resolutions were abandoned by the second week of February. All those hopeful six-packs disappeared as fast as most teenagers when it comes to doing their chores. So why are the goals of dieting and exercise doomed to fail? Why does motivation only seem to last about, as long as the average honeybee worker, which is about 2 to 6 weeks? Well, let me tell you why. My name is Jamie Cunningham Dragosta, and I'm a health psychologist. I'm a researcher, and I study weight loss and, of course, the motivation behind it. Now, if you're interested in losing weight and you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit the button and join me for lots of tips on how to lose weight and find your healthy ideal body image. Also, if you think others may be interested, please share this video so that they may also benefit. So now let's jump back to exercising. I can tell you as a researcher that exercise is not meant for weight loss. Researchers at the NIH, which stands for the National Institute of Health, agree. They say that although exercise may significantly improve overall health, just like, limiting your alcohol intake or eliminating processed or junk food or even quitting smoking, exercise is not the best way to lose weight. Now, I experienced this myself. I personally lost over 100 pounds in just over a year with zero exercise. As I was going through my PhD process and becoming a psychologist and specializing in health psychology and having been previously obese, I focused on researching weight loss. And one of the first constructs that I studied is how our bodies use the energy that we ingest. So let's look at what happens when we do exercise. We can look at our bodies as chemical processing plants, and we process energy in 3 primary ways. And by processing energy, I could say when we eat food, whether it's real or not real food, and not real food meaning processed, junk, or fast food, it has an energy component that we're familiar with called calories. Now, the primary way that we process the energy from calories is by what is known as resting metabolism. Now, according to the website verywellfit.com, they define resting metabolism as the number of calories that your body burns while at rest. Now, you may have also heard about basal metabolic rate, or BMR, and there is a slight difference between the two. BMR is the amount of energy that is used when you're lying still but awake. It is the minimum metabolic rate needed to keep you alive, to keep your lungs, your heart, your brain, and your circulation working. Now, resting metabolic rate, or RMR, again, according to verywellfit.com, is the same as a BMR, but adds a small additional amount of energy to perform very low tasks, such as going to the bathroom. And certainly, going to the bathroom is worth the effort to get out of bed and perform this task. I would imagine that you agree with that. Now, I have included a link to verywellfit.com, and they have a calculator where you can input your age, your gender, your body weight, your height, and your activity level to get a general approximation of the number of calories you need to maintain your current weight. Now, a quick FYI, the old notion of calories in and calories out is creating a caloric deficit to lose weight is also not precisely based in science either, or at least we've updated our science and information than what we knew a few decades ago. Now, there's still a lot of so-called experts that stick to this outdated and proven to be false notion. Many studies show that you can overeat the right types of calories and still lose weight. So that doesn't work. And I also call BS on that antiquated idea, which I will cover in another video. Now, your resting metabolic rate is the most significant criterion for burning or using up energy. So common sense says if you have a high metabolism rate or a high resting metabolic rate compared to a low resting metabolic rate or a low metabolism, you will burn different amounts of energy in a day to maintain your weight. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say that there's a male, age 50, weighing 350 pounds, and he's going to have a higher resting metabolic rate than a female, age 50, that weighs only 120 pounds. In other words, the energy needed to keep that man alive is higher than maintaining the woman to stay alive in this example. So the second element of energy expenditure is what is referred to as the thermic effect of food. So what does that mean? Well, here's an example. That means how much energy does your body require to metabolize, say, 300 calories of broccoli, and it is not the same amount of energy as needed to metabolize the same number of calories, 300, of, say, cotton candy. So the old saying, a calorie is a calorie is a calorie, that's not accurate either. So what is true is not all calories are equal. You see, there was this guy, and he was a chemist. His name is Wilbur Olin Atwater, who in the late 1800s became known as the father of modern nutrition. Now, he developed a way to determine the amount of energy as humans and animals, and how we ingest our food and how we process it. So in other words, he invented the calorimeter. Basically, he's the guy that figured out that a protein and a carbohydrate have 4 calories per gram, and that a gram of fat has 9 calories. Side note, he also figured out that alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So our good friend, Mr. Wilbur Atwater, showed us how much energy is required to break down or metabolize the food in our bodies. Now, without talking about fiber or any other details, if you ate 100 grams of cotton candy, you'd get about 394 calories. All the calories come from sugar or carbohydrates, no protein, and about a half a gram of fat. If you had the same number of grams, 100 grams of broccoli, you would have only 31 calories. 2.5 grams come from protein, 6 grams from carbs, and 0.4 grams come from fat. 2.4 grams from fiber, and about 1.5 grams of sugar. So which one is healthier? It's a stupid question. Which one makes you feel fuller? Well, that's also a stupid question. Now, to give you an idea, this is what 100 grams of cotton candy looks like. like compared to 100 grams of broccoli. So to get the same number of calories as the small amount of cotton candy, you would need to eat nearly 13 to 14 cups of broccoli. You probably couldn't even do that. Your stomach isn't that big. And again, we're not going to compare fiber, which is a massive part of losing weight. It's how I lost 130 pounds in just over a year. But now lastly, the third part of energy expenditure is physical activity, and I'm definitely not talking about exercise. But if you're the average non-exercising American, the amount of energy that you burn by just being awake, going to work, driving your car, and doing your normal tasks, and being a person with a very modest physical activity, you only burn energy equal to about 10 to 30% of the total amount of energy that you use in a day. So clearly the vast majority of the energy you use comes from basal or resting metabolism. Using energy as part of your total energy expenditure is more out of your control than in your control. When you move around throughout the day, that's in your control. And that adds up to about maybe 10 to 30% of the total energy you burn. But here's the issue with exercise. If you run for about 1 hour a day, you're only going to burn 400 to 700 calories. And remember that 13 to 14 cups of broccoli or one serving of cotton candy is about the same 400 calories or 1 hour of running. Now, if you exercise like jogging and run 1 mile, just 1 mile, you're going to burn only 100 calories. But if you eat 1 cup of broccoli, which is 1 serving, all you have to do is walk around the block or jog around the block for maybe a quarter of a mile. And if you eat that cotton candy, well, you're going to have to run 4 miles to burn the same amount and burn that up. So another example, if we have a 200-pound man who wants to lose 5 pounds in a month, he would need to run for 1 hour a day, at least 4 days a week for an entire month. But his energy intake has to stay the same. Now here comes more science. As a psychologist, I have found hundreds of studies showing that exercise has a biological and a psychological effect, and it is not necessarily positive. For example, exercise, like jogging, makes you more hungry. Now, I don't know about you, but I would say I don't like the feeling of being hungry every day, especially if you're trying to cut out the calories or energy you're used to if you're trying to lose weight. So I'm going to show you in another video how this happens between the connection of our brain and our gut. If you exercise in the morning, for example, studies show that you are likely to eat twice as much food later in the day than if you didn't exercise at all. And don't even get me started on the inflammation effect of exercise. Now, I can also add that studies show that people who work out in the morning naturally tend to be less active throughout the day compared to those not exercising in the morning. This is a way that we unconsciously sabotage our own exercise. For example, if you generally take the stairs to go to your office, on the day that you exercise, researchers have found that the vast majority of people who exercise in the morning tend to take the elevator more often on those days than the days that they didn't exercise. And this lowers the basal metabolic rate. And remember, that is why the vast majority of energy you ingest is burned or used throughout the day in the first place. So as psychologists, we call this compensatory behaviors. Now, let me briefly talk about the construct called metabolic compensation. When you calculate your resting metabolic rate, or RMR, and I'll give you an example. 200-pound man, age 54, 6'1", with a sedentary lifestyle, has a resting metabolic rate of 2,161 calories. But compare that to a man, same age, same height, also with a sedentary lifestyle, but weighs only 160 pounds. His resting metabolic rate is 1,944 calories. That's a difference of 217 calories, or 7 cups of broccoli. They cannot eat the same foods or have the same diet. If they did, say, eat 2,161 calories, the 160-pound man is going to gain weight based upon this calculation. Or if they both ate 1,444 calories, the heavier man is going to lose weight on the theory of caloric deficit. So in short, if you lose weight, you can't eat as much as you normally do to maintain your weight loss. You have to compensate by eating fewer calories to keep your weight loss going. Or if you want to lose weight, you have to continually adjust again over and over and over as you lose the weight. Now, it sounds complicated, but that's the science. So if you were one of my clients, over time, each week, we are consistently working with your goal of moving your energy intake so that your number one goal of losing weight happens. But we don't want you to get hungry. That's a bad idea. But we need to adjust your energy intake to allow you to be able to hit your goals. Now, I don't recommend any of my clients do any exercise until they're about 10 pounds or so within their goal weight. Most of my clients, they're trying to lose about 30 pounds at a minimum, but some of them are trying to lose 100 or 200 pounds or much more. If you don't adjust to your body correctly, you can see why so many diets fail and people go on a diet, horrible idea. They lose some weight, they get happy, and then they revert to their old eating habits. And again, they start to gain weight. They get more dissatisfaction and start the process all over again. Also a very bad idea. Hence the term metabolic compensation or yo-yo dieting. And it's a critical component to long-term success. Now, the moral of this story is that if you eat food, especially high-caloric junk foods like Big Mac and French fries, you're going to have to go jogging for a few hours every day. Now, I'm going to share with you in another video that advertisers like, Coca-Cola and the fast food industry, many of them, for decades, at least since the 1920s, have always used sports figures and athletes to promote their products. Why? Well, they want you to buy their junk food, but they don't want you to get fat, or they call it, what I call it is non-food and crap drinks that make us sick and fat. They want you to exercise a lot so you can keep buying your stuff. And you know what? They don't want you to blow up a balloon, but, the leaders of our public health, many of our politicians, they don't care about our individual health. How can they, when many of these junk food companies actually fund their campaigns and sponsor their events? So losing weight, it's not about exercise. It's counterintuitive, I know, but exercise is essential when you get closer to your ideal body weight, but not if you're obese or overweight. The focus should be on understanding the food and the nutrition environment and, of course, stepping over the obese landmines. Now, suppose that you're sick and tired of being overweight and obese. I would like you to follow my weight loss journey and let me help you with yours. I've been helping thousands of others, and you can lose weight just like they did, and I'd like to share more with you. So click on the link below to learn my 3 major discoveries on weight loss and my 4-step process on how to establish and follow your ideal body blueprint. So click on the link below called the idealbodyblueprint.com/register, or type in idealbodyblueprint.com/register into your web browser. Now, I hope to talk to you in the future, but if you do have some questions, you're more than welcome to shoot me an email at jamie@jamiedragosta.com. It's on the screen right now, and learn how I can help you lose the weight that you desire and find your ideal body weight. Now, remember, like and subscribe for more free tips and essential information to get that ideal healthy body that we all so desperately desire. Go to www.idealbodyblueprint.com/register, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.